Back to the Joshua Earp YouTube channel, and today we have a very special guest, Mr. Naeem Alobaidi, who is by far the best expert that I know on technical analysis, and he's going to be sharing some wisdom today on the future of the Bitcoin price and some other four-dimensional revolving parts, as he says, which can determine the outside environment, which can largely impact the price of Bitcoin. So I'm going to go through a few things before we turn it over to Mr. Alobaidi, but we're going to go ahead and take a look here. So if we go to the weekly, it's very interesting. We have a double top formation on the weekly, and the weekly is a very high time frame. So usually if you see a pattern on a higher time frame, there's more confluence, meaning that it has more weight, it carries more weight essentially. And not only that, but that double top has confluence with a 5-year-old line, spider line right here. So we're on the weekly. If we follow this back, you'll see, look, it called this right here perfectly. I mean, on the dot. Called it on the dot. Also, if you come back, it called this perfectly as well. These lines have been here since 2018, the beginning of 2018. So they're very, very powerful, and obviously they're well respected. Not only did it call the top at 69,000, they called everything. It's ridiculous. But it's just very interesting when you look at it that we are seeing confluence with a resistance line, spider line, and a double top. But there's very bullish sentiment in the market right now because we keep making higher lows, and arguably even a higher high right here. And we broke this Gann line of resistance right here as well, which is a long-term line. So you can see how much it's been respected. So the question becomes, and I'm going to leave this up to Naeem to give us an answer of what he thinks, but the question becomes, will Bitcoin be able to break above this spider line and potentially start the next bull run? And if so, do you really think that this is the bottom at 17.5? I personally think it's a very high chance that that could be the bottom, or at least near the bottom, because this yellow line has always respected, I should say the price has always respected this yellow line as the bottom all the way back to 2018 as well, the end of 2018, and there's a few weeks in March where it dropped below, but other than that, it's always been the bottom, and we have a perfect, like picture perfect touch right here. So it's very well possible. That's also something I'm going to leave up to Naeem in today's video. Does he think that 17.5 is the bottom? But what's interesting is that it really comes down to this daily candle. Because if this daily candle, which really isn't even that old yet, cannot get above, I would say, 24,245, then it will print a lower high. And so if something prints lower highs, then typically, as long as it continues that trend, it does equal to the downside. Now, the crazy thing is we could actually come down to the weekly open here at 22,500 or so and still remain bullish. I mean, hell, I'd even argue we could come down to the weekly open, which has a long-term horizontal confluence line as well, around the 19,673 range. So the thing is, that's what I'm looking at. It could even come down to the monthly open and still be bullish, because that would technically still be a higher low, as compared to this. Another interesting thing to note is with the DXY, we did break a very critical level of resistance on this Gann fan. However, it wasn't as long-term of a trend line as the next one down here, which has confluence around the monthly open, which also has confluence with the 104.156 level, which, as you can see, has also been respected over time. So with the DXY, if this is the local top right here, then that means it should just smash straight through the monthly open and this blue line, but it isn't until that happens. It is not until I see the DXY below the monthly open, then I will begin to turn super bullish on everything else. But I just think the dollar, even though the purchasing power of the dollar is going down, the DXY for some reason keeps going up. So that's what we're looking at. I'll go ahead and turn it over to you, Mr. Naeem, and thank you so much for hopping on. You can now share your screen. And tell us what you think. Is 17.5 the bottom? Do you think that are you bullish, bearish, are you neutral? Show us some of the 4D revolving parts.
Thank you so much, Josh, and what great analysis you provide here. So, to answer your question, do I think 17,600 was a bottom? Well, every fundamental indicator has flashed signs that we could have potentially have seen a bottom, but Bitcoin right now is at a critical inflection point, because if we're not able to get above 24,300, exactly as you mentioned, Josh, I do not think that we'll be able to see continued upside here. I think that there is a high chance Bitcoin comes back down to these lows to test some of these levels here, potentially to clear out some leveraged positions that may have entered into this consolidation or whatever that might be. We know that since Elon Musk announced Tesla sold Bitcoin, we have only seen red daily candles, and then now we have this 4-day pump that we've seen, and a lot of people are saying that this is a major relief rally. It has been for some altcoins, but the fact of the matter is, since that day that Tesla announced that they started to sell their Bitcoin, we've seen weakness for Bitcoin against the equity market. So, even during this weekend, the equity markets formed new consolidation highs, but Bitcoin failed to do so. And so we are still facing a major resistance here at 24,300. And when and if we get above that, we can start talking about a potentially bullish case and whether or not this could be the bottom, because I think that once we break above this level, 28,000 would be that key level to determine whether we're flipping back into a bull market or not. And then, of course, we'll have to monitor the 20-week moving average, because that is home base. During a bull market, you want to always be above that 20-week moving average. And so that's sitting right around that $31,000 level. Then if we can see price action to the higher end of this range towards 35,000, I would call 17,600 a bottom. But until and if we break 24,300, we have to just look at it for what it is and take it at face value. The fact is, Bitcoin is facing major resistance at 24,300. This is a major decision point for Bitcoin, and it has all of the reasons to have the green light to see upside this weekend. And if it fails to do so, that would be a big concern for me. So, the S&P 500 closed with the new consolidation highs, moving further up. The Nasdaq, the same thing. Ethereum as well, even peaking into this range between 1760 and 2,000 US dollars. Everything is giving Bitcoin the green light. And so if it does not take the path this weekend, I would be extremely concerned for the Bitcoin price. It has to break above 24,300 in the next 24 to 48 hours, or else it could be doomed. And so I think this is an extremely important weekend for Bitcoin. We had the CPI numbers come out earlier this month, but this week specifically, we had interest rates increase. And so it's a critical moment and an inflection point. Josh, thank you so much for the spotlight. That is all I have to cover for now.
Wow, that's great. Well, thank you so much for sharing that. I appreciate it. We'll go ahead and, by the way, we're going to have the link to, let's share my screen as well. So that's Mr. Naeem. That's my best friend right there. So the thing is that we'll go ahead and cover Ethereum real quick as well. But yeah, it's amazing analysis. What do you think about Ethereum? Because here's what I think. I'll tell you what I think, and then you tell me what you think. So with Ethereum right now, by the way, it's been a while since I've even really looked at this chart. So if I was going to really seriously re-examine it, I would add some lines. Nothing major. I would just come in here and do some of this action, maybe some of this action, depending on where that ends up. But no, definitely it would be something like this. you know, and this is a resistance line, so I would probably, you know, in my mind, make it red. So I would go like that, and I would say, you know, that we could come up and we could come and we can test this levels, perhaps, but if we get rejected at this level, it's not until we break this level and test it as support that I'm going to be very, very bullish, only because we're seeing the same thing on Bitcoin as well. So I would say that right there to me would be a major turning point of, you know, if we can break above that, then I think we're good to go. So let me go ahead and just take a closer look at this actually on the weekly. Yeah, so that's what I would do, and not only that, but there might even be, wow, yeah, let's look at this. Look at that baby right there. Look at that golden yellow line. Bam. Look how much confluence that is. Every single candle is an entire week of time. This is a major, major confluence. Look how many weekly touches that has. That's a ridiculous amount of weekly touches, and it lines up perfectly right here. This could have been the bottom for Ethereum. This very well could have been the bottom for Ethereum. If it remains bullish, if we can go above here. What do you think, Naeem? I want to know what you think.
I really take a lot of value into that yellow line that you always have up. I think, you know, for Ethereum specifically, we're at a point of either getting rejected at 1760, then seeing the 2018 previous all-time high get tested again at 1440, or this could be a real breakout that could take Ethereum past 2,000 US dollars. That door opens up at 1760, so I think that's the most critical level of resistance. And, you know, the Ethereum to Bitcoin chart, ever since the Ethereum 2.0 merge was announced, has sorry, I think my mic just cut out. It's so the Ethereum to Bitcoin chart has only seen upside since that announcement of the Ethereum merge on September 18th. So far, you know, we could potentially assume this could see some further upside. I mean, so
Wow.
that's what I'm looking at for Ethereum.
Man, it's been so long since I've. By the way, guys, we were gonna do it live, but we decided we're just gonna do kind of just a longer style video. Usually, I'll probably keep it kind of short. Tonight's just a special case, so. But we are gonna go over some important information, and you know, Cardano, which is Charles Hoskinson is a good friend of Naeem and I's, and was gracious enough to invite us to his ranch in Colorado. I'm liking what I'm seeing right now with Cardano. I mean, we have the same exact thing, where as long as, let me just get rid of some of this. This has been on my chart for a long time. So yeah, I mean, I'm seeing the same thing with Cardano. The one thing I don't see, let's go ahead and check out Solana real quick. I think it's the same thing with Solana.
That's like a massive head and shoulder.
Oh yeah, I think I'm seeing the same thing right now with Solana. Pretty much, yeah. So that's what you want to look for, guys. The long-term lines of confluence. But yeah, this is like an Arby's oven mitt. You know, it's got like the glove and then the thumb. That's what it looks like to me, anyway. But the one that's not doing too well is this one right here, Polkadot. I guess people just don't like Polkadot, or they're just willing to dump that rather than some of their other coins. I don't know. I like Polkadot. I think it's great. But now that I'm looking at this on the weekly, it does look like this. You know, it hit the monthly open. So I mean, if this isn't a historic buying opportunity for Polkadot right now, I don't know what is. But anyway, so we don't want to keep this video too long. Just wanted to show you guys a little diversity let you know what we're thinking, especially with the DXY. We're going to closely monitor this. And thank you guys for watching. Anything else you want to say, Naeem?
No, thank you so much, Josh, and I appreciate you letting me on your channel. Amazing analysis. So it's going to be an interesting weekend, man.
Well, we will see what happens. Let us know your thoughts and comments below, and make sure to subscribe to Naeem's YouTube channel, which is in the description below as well. And we will see you guys in the next video.